Hiya, how are ya? I hope you are well. Today's video is going to be a tutorial for this look right here, which was inspired by one of the amazing looks from JLO and Maluma's new music video for Lonely. There was like a video released for two songs kind of in one, the Patty and Lonely. So in the second half of that video with the second song, she wears a look similar to this. I'm not going to say this is an exact recreation because I'm not as good as Mary Phillips. I did my best with like the screenshots that I could get, and also there's kind of two scenes where she has this look and the lighting is very different in them. One of them makes it look more warm toned, one of them is very cool toned. So yeah, I kind of did a lot of guesswork as well, but zooming in on screenshots and stuff, I did my best. And this is pretty much a one brand tutorial using Revolution makeup. It's not sponsored in any way. I was just pulling products for the look and I noticed that a good number of them were Revolution anyway. So I decided to see if I could make the whole look from Revolution products that I had. And I pretty much did. There's a couple products that aren't Revolution, but the main products are. So just to switch it up and do something different, I made it a one brand tutorial using Revolution to create this JLO look. So I'll stop rambling now and get into the tutorial, which will be a voiceover. So we'll switch over to that now. So I'm starting with the Provocative palette and I'm taking this peachy shade on a big fluffy blending brush, and this is like my base shade that's going all over the eye. So I'm starting in the crease. I'm just kind of getting my shape down, winging it out at the sides a little bit just to bring it out, and also going under the eye and across the lid. And then next I'm dipping into this darker kind of berry shade. I'm using that on my outer V area, so on the outer corner of the crease, and connecting it onto the outer corner of the lid, just to give some definition and shading. And then I'll also run some of that along the lower lash line a little bit closer to the lashes. Next I'm using this sparkly kind of pink shade on my finger and just pressing that onto the lid. I'm starting in the center and then blending it out either side, and I'll also use one of the blending brushes just to help fade out the edges. And again I'll pop some of that in the lower lash line just in the center. I'm then taking the pencil end from the Line and Flick eyeliner and using that just to very, very tightly line my top lash line, and also tight line the top waterline. And then just using a tiny little brush to smudge out that liner on the top, just to soften it and blend it into the eyeshadow. So then I'm taking this Supreme Highlight Trio in the colour Metals, and I'm using the middle gold shade and just popping that into the inner corner on a flat brush for a little highlight. And then I'm just applying some mascara before I remembered that I needed to add a pencil into my lower waterline. So this is the Rockstar pencil from Urban Decay, which is like a dark purpley shade, because I didn't have a Revolution pencil that was that kind of colour. And then I also didn't have any Revolution lashes, so I'm using the Luna by Lisa Bradley lashes and applying those. So next we're on to brows, and I'm using the brow pomade. I believe mine is in the shade Granite, and I'm just taking that on an angled brush and feathering it through with some hair-like strokes. So then onto foundation, I'm starting with the Ultra Fast Base Stick in F6, and then I'm also mixing it with the Conceal Define foundation in F10.5 just to get my correct shade, and then blending all of that together. And then just adding some of the Conceal and Define concealer onto my eyes and through the centre of the face to highlight. I did also add a couple of dots of the darker foundation that I used under the eyes just to darken it a tiny little bit, just to not be so ashy, and then just blended all of that out and into the foundation. And then again, I didn't have a setting powder from Revolution, so I went in with my MAC Studio Fix powder in NC25, I think, and just set all over with that. So then I went into the iconic Lights and Contour Pro palette and took this top kind of warmer shade first, and just started contouring and bronzing with that. So I went around the hairline, under the cheekbones and under my jawline. And then I went in with a slightly cooler shade just to sculpt out under the cheekbones a little bit more, to add a little bit more shading. Next I'm going into the Ultra Blush palette in Hot Spice, and I'm taking these two shades here, mixing those to create like a bright corally colour, and applying that to the apples of the cheeks and blending backwards just above that contour and bronzing. Then just to sharpen up and snatch underneath that contour and blush, I went in with the Lace Loose Baking Powder and just sculpted out underneath, just for a little bit of baking, a very light bake. I didn't leave it long at all, and then dusted it off with a big powder brush. And that just basically cleans up that underneath area and removes any unwanted colour that came down too low. So then I'm going back into the Supreme Metals highlighter and taking the bottom two shades, the kind of the gold and the bronze, using a mix of those and highlighting the tops of my cheekbones, starting at the back and blending forward. So then for my nose, I used the lighter, cooler contour shade that I had already used on a blending brush and just ran that along the sides of my nose as well as the tip of my nose. And then I just used my powder brush to press over the top and soften that. So then back into that highlight palette, I'm taking the top two shades, pinching the highlight brush and running that down the center of the nose, and then blending that in with my finger, and also adding a little bit to the tip of the nose, just a little bit higher than my natural tip, and then just adding the tiniest bit of shading across the top of the ball of the nose just to make it a little bit more buttony, if that makes sense. And then going in with a red lip liner in the shade Fire and just outlining my lips and then filling them in. And then going in with a red lipstick in the shade Nostalgia over the top of that. And then because that lipstick was matte, I'm just adding just a gloss over the top to give a glossy, shiny finish. And this is the finished look. I hope you like it. I really like it. I don't think I've done a look like this on myself before, but yeah, I kind of want to keep it on. Sometimes I just take my makeup off after filming a video or doing like a look for Instagram or something, but I actually want to keep this look on, even though it's 7:45 in the evening and I'll just be going inside and eating some dinner and watching some telly. But yeah, I just think it's quite fun and colourful without being like over the top with loads of colours, and overall it's more of like a monochromatic feel, and I just quite like these tones with my skin tone personally. I should make a note to wear these kind of colours more. I'm too stuck in a rut at the moment. I'm very neutrals. So yeah, that completes this video. If you did like it, please don't forget to give a thumbs up down below. It helps me out a lot. And of course, if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below for free. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to. I'm at ChristineMUA. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day.